This up. Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Madiha Saeed, board certified integrative holistic family physician, also known as Holistic Mom MD. I'm going to wait. I know I jumped on a little early, but I just wanted to give people time to jump on before we talk about this really exciting topic. But before that, let's go. I know I've been missing in action for a while. I've been speaking all over the country and doing a lot of fun stuff and really trying to get my some of the things that, like, hi Norma. So I've been actually working on a lot of blogs and infographics. If you've seen that, you can see it on my website in the blog section, and www.holisticmommd.com. And I started creating these blogs where it's really just how to heal, like the quick, easy snippet, fast about how to heal. So for example, I think I just took out the celiac disease one, and it's just an infographic, so it lays out on how you can heal in an infographic, right? So I'm really trying to make healing and healing as easy as possible. So today, actually, let's go and recap and talk about what we've been talking about. So if you've been dealing with chronic symptoms like digestive complaints, constipation, diarrhea, bloating, that was my problem before, and constipation, and bloating, so I know how miserable all those can be, cramping every time you eat or afterwards, whenever. Then we have fatigue, irritability, brain fog, headaches, acne, seborrheic dermatitis, eczema. If you've been dealing with any of these complaints, an autoimmune disease, we either have joint pain, back pain, any of these symptoms, if you've been dealing with them, give me a sad face. Give me a sad face. Show me what you want, because it's not fun, right? So that's the kind of stuff that, doctors, when you talk to a regular physician, conventionally trained doctor, they will go, when you go to yourself with those symptoms, oh, I know I see all those sad faces. I hear you guys, because I dealt with that stuff too. I have been there and done that, because I was born, raised in Naperville, Illinois, did residency in South Bend, Indiana, and I had a lot of those same complaints. I had thyroid issues, Hashimoto's, lupus. Like, I had all those symptoms, digestive complaints, fatigue, and everything else that comes with autoimmunity. I felt like I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I went through the conventional training and found that every time I brought a symptom to the doctor, they just basically treated my symptom with a medication. And I was sick and tired of that approach. I didn't want that. I wanted to know what I can do to get back in charge of my own health. So what is really key is that when you go to your doctor, they only have 15 minutes to see you. My husband, who is a full-time family physician, he has to see 28 patients at the least, for our paycheck not to go half. So in 15 minutes, a doctor can only really talk to you about your one symptom. And that's where, and they're really stuck on this hamster wheel. So I was really blessed that right after residency, I joined this medical practice where under one roof, there was me, an OBGYN, an internist, an exercise physiologist, nutritionist, counseling, chiropractor, massage therapy, all brought together for the complete healing of the whole person. I know, crazy, right? And that's when I first discovered, 8 years ago, I first discovered that, yes, doctors all know that your chronic symptoms are due to inflammation. For example, like if you have joint pain, they give you an anti-inflammatory, right? If you have a rash, or like let's eczema, they give you an anti-inflammatory, a steroid topically or orally, depending on how severe your situation is. If you have back pain, what do they give you? Anti-inflammatory. If you have allergies, what do they give you? An anti-inflammatory, an antihistamine. That is a product, that is a mediator of one of the cells of inflammation. So there's so many things. We doctors know that inflammation is the underlying root cause of your chronic symptoms. But guess what? this is where in residency and all these, we don't know how to address the underlying root causes of inflammation. So this is why when you go to your doctor and address that I have fatigue, I know, send me all those sad faces. If you're dealing with these issues, I want to hear it, you guys. Send it to me. Give me your heart love. I want to hear all those symptoms that you're dealing with. Because when you go to your doctor, either with depression, anxieties, if we have problems with digestive complaints, if thyroid issues, hair problems, whatever symptom that you go to your doctor with, guess what? If you just feel like they're just covering it up with medications and not addressing the root cause, then listen up. And that's where we're going to talk about today. We're going to sort of recap about that and quickly just talk about fats. And a recap is that all these symptoms are like the leaves of a tree. The root cause is inflammation. And inflammation, if you can target the underlying root cause of inflammation, you can heal not one symptom, but then all of them simultaneously. Isn't that crazy? So depending on, I know, fatigue, gut issues, headaches. Yeah, Carolyn, you can literally heal all of that. Hypothyroidism, somebody say hypothyroidism, terrible panic attacks. Yes, the underlying root cause is inflammation. And so what we can do is we can get you back in charge of your own health just by addressing those underlying root cause. Thank you guys for the heart love. Mwah. So let's now tell you how you can deal with that. So is inflammation responsible for heels not being hot? Yes. So any symptom that literally in this, I can't say this enough, the more chronic symptoms that you're dealing with, the more problems of inflammation you have. Actually, even if you're just dealing with one chronic symptom, it's inflammation. If you're dealing with multiple chronic symptoms, it's inflammation. And so instead of taking a medication for all these symptoms, you can heal this from the underlying root cause, but the thing is, this is going to get you back in the driver's seat of your own health. And that is what we're going to quickly recap today. I have about 45 minutes with you guys, so we're going to go and talk about this. Actually, probably half an hour, 45 minutes, half an hour. So thank you. Yes, this is because it is you getting back in charge of your own health and not being basically just band-aided and not feel you. I want you to feel your very best. And this is how you're going to do it. Because if I was able to get off that hamster wheel, you guys can too. So let's do this together, right? Before we start in that deep dive, please go ahead and like this, share this. There's so many people out there that are really trying to figure out their symptoms, sick and tired of being sick and tired of the medicinal approach. So this is where we got to help them with hope and healing, right? So, Norma, Daniela, hi you guys. Yeah, let's go ahead. Norma, I know it's miserable. So let me help you feel your very best. And let's quickly talk about that just quickly. I'm just going to give a quick overview and then go back to what we've really been talking about is our inflammation. So we have let me get the picture. So the underlying root cause of your chronic symptoms is inflammation. So deficits in any of these can lead to inflammation that can cause your chronic symptoms if you have any deficiencies in this. So what I have been talking about, you guys can go through all my Facebook lives and where I go through these in a little bit more detail and the studies and all that, and obviously my book can help you. But for every single solitary one of my patients, I always start off with spirituality. So immediately when you wake up in the morning, say 10 things that you're thankful for. Gratitude is really healing. Make sure there's people around you that are going to lift you up and not drag you down. And then we have is making sure you're sleeping well, right? Then we have is making sure that you're stress managing. Because guess what, you guys? 80% of the complaints that come to primary care physicians are due to stress. And here's another shocker. That doctors, I was a new resident, a new mom, a new wife, all at once. My husband was also a doctor. Both of us were doing 80-hour work weeks. And guess who really needed to learn how to stress management? Me. I didn't learn any stress management. I wish I had learned it. And in residency, my condition continued to decline and decline, where I started getting sicker. And here I was responsible for taking patients when I didn't even feel that well. So this is a very broken system that really, really, really is key. This is where stress management can stop. 80% of the complaints that come to primary care physicians are due to stress. So why not learn those stress management techniques that can keep those damaging hormones at bay? And then I talked a lot about the stress management techniques that you can incorporate into your daily routine that will help you heal. So, and then we talked about, now we're going on this side, right? The gut health. 80%, so this is what's also crazy, right? So the difference between somebody with the problem and somebody without a problem. If we study the same anatomy books and we study the same physiology books, so if we're all the exact same on the inside, it's our environment that makes a difference, right? So the biggest connection between our insides and our outsides, no, it's not your vagina. No, even though we would like it to be, right? But the thing is, it's basically our mouth, right? That's what's constantly being exposed to from the internal to the external environment connection. This is where 70 to 80% of our immune system lies in the gut. 70 to 80% of the immune system lies in the gut. And we have 100 trillion bacteria that line your gut lining. 100 trillion. So the pictures are all in here. And what's so crazy is that those bugs determine how we are going to be healthy? Are we going to be sick? How are you feeling? They determine our decisions, the decisions that we make. They determine everything. If you're getting me, you guys, I want that heart love. If you're not, give me some sad face, and I'll go through that in a little bit more detail. But what's so crazy is that here, look at this. If we have a lot of good, usually this is what happens in normal. So normally, we have a lot of good bugs versus bad bugs. But that's when your body is all nice and balanced. But over time, what happens is that you have a lot of the stressors and bad food, or there's toxins in our environment. There's a lot of things, chronic infections, that can start to kill off those good bugs. Thank you guys for the heart love. If you can it starts to kill off all the good bugs, and it gets replaced by these bad bugs. And guess what? These bad bugs don't do their job well. And when they don't do their job well, guess what happens? Is that they let things through that should not be getting through. And 70 to 80% of your immune system is like, hey, you shouldn't be here, so I'm going to go attack you. So when it goes attacks, it leads immune complexes all over the body. When it leads to your chronic symptoms, guess what? If you have depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, bipolar, it starts in your gut. If you have thyroid issues, it starts in your gut. If you have pain, if you have eczema, it starts in your gut. If you have, cancers, if you have any of these conditions, it starts in your gut. If you have digestive complaints, guess what? It starts in your gut. So this is where it's really important. Right now, you guys have a fire going on in your gut. So we have to put the fire out. And how are we going to put that fire out? By first, we're going to need to remove those foods that cause the most problems. And those are, like, I have another picture here on page 35. On page 35, I talk about really easy. I tried to keep normal. Yes, it's in the gut. We got to put the fire out in the gut. And this is what we got to, the way that we're going to do that is first we got to stop putting the gasoline on the fire. Right? And this is where I have my patients remove all dairy, all grains, all sugar, all processed foods, all junk, anything processed. And so then we have I know that's a lot. We're going to, we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. And then you can go back in previous Facebook Lives and I go through this, how to heal the gut in a little bit more detail. Then what happens is I replace with these good foods. So we talked about vegetables, we talked about protein and healthy fats. And even in my family, we go down a list. Anytime anybody's hungry, you say, okay, vegetable, protein, healthy fats, and then you can think about eating anything else, because you want to give your body, those nutrient-dense foods that's going to help heal it, right? Because how can you heal it if we're eating all those foods that are lack of nutritional value? So this is where tons of vegetables, protein, and healthy fats. We talked about vegetables, protein in the last, and now we're going to talk about healthy fats. But quickly again, then I replace with probiotics and prebiotics. Replace with bone broth. Have at least 1 cup of bone broth per day. Fish oil, vitamin D, magnesium. And then I also help to rebalance. And this is where all the rest of it, removing the toxins in your environment, your gratitude, your sleeping well, your stress managing, making sure you're incorporating a daily stress management technique into your everyday life, because that will keep 80% of the complaints that come to primary care physicians away. So this is the kind of stuff that we really got to focus on. And now in the last Facebook Lives that we discussed, we talked about vegetables, protein, and healthy fats. Why are we focusing on these specific foods, right? It's because of the fact that these foods, whenever you put foods in your body, you want to make sure that it fits 3 criteria. It heals the gut, it balances your hormone, glucose, insulin levels, right? And I talk about insulin resistance and other Facebook Lives, and I go through how your fatigue and irritability, brain fog, sugar crashes, carb cravings can all be due to insulin resistance. Then we have those foods and be the most nutrient dense. So what was it again? Gut healing, balance insulin levels, and be as nutrient dense as possible for you, right? To help heal you, not hurt you. And so those foods are your recipe for success is to every meal making sure that you have your vegetables, your protein, and your healthy fats. So we were going to talk about, so here's a little quick picture of vegetables, protein, healthy fats, and a healing pyramid, not the food pyramid, but a healing pyramid to really help you understand. So let's go through that in a little bit more detail about fats, because that has been literally, it's been sort of taboo, right? And that's something that I've even had to educate my family on. And yes, I have my brother is an interventional cardiologist, so that's something that I have had to educate him on. I've had to educate a lot of people, and then once you show them the studies, I have all the studies in regards to that in here, okay? And so Alicia is asking, the name of my book is called The Holistic RX, Your Guide to Healing Chronic Inflammation and Disease. And it has everything in it, so everything that I talk about is in there. So let's talk about fat, because fat is, even though it's been tabooed, but it is, I need you guys to make one thing clear. You need fat. It is essential for you to live. If you need fat. Our brain is made out of fat, 60% DHA, EPA, in our brain. Our brain is made out of, literally, you guys are fat heads. We're all fat heads. Then we also, all our nervous systems need fat. We need fat for nerve function, for weight loss. We need it for hormones like testosterone and all of your estrogen, and for it to metabolize, vitamin D. You need it even to fat is actually key to reverse, to reverse heart disease risk, including cholesterol, hypertension, diabetes, inflammation, and more. Fat is required to make cholesterol, right? Which is found in every single cell of the body. I know it's needed for the cell structure. It aids in every important metabolic and hormonal function. It helps the body absorb fat soluble nutrients. It optimizes digestive health, bone health. It lowers what happens? A low cholesterol diet actually forces you to make your own, right? Forces you to the body to work extra hard to make your own. It revs up its own production, causing actually higher cholesterol levels. So isn't that crazy? So therefore, and then another key piece of fat is that we know that it helps people lose weight. Again, it helps with chronic illnesses. And then it helps with lowering inflammation. It helps you lose weight. Wait. Fat helps you lose weight? I know, crazy, right? But what's really, really, really key is that fat actually turns on a hormone called leptin. Leptin helps for satiation. It tells your body that, hey, I'm full. So this is what the industry has done, is that we had fat shamed But then we start doing more foods like carby type foods, more pastas, more processed foods, more things with sugar in them. And guess what those foods do? Those foods actually go and inhibit leptin. They cause something called leptin resistance. Leptin resistance tells your body that you're still not full. So you eat more. Isn't that crazy? So for example, why do they give you bread at the beginning of a meal when you go to a fancy restaurant? To fill you up? No, because these processed carbs actually go and inhibit the leptin, right? And they cause leptin resistance and tell your body that you are not full yet. Isn't that crazy? So you are actually ordering more by you having that bread and all that and less fat. So this is what is so crazy. I know it's like this Ponzi scheme for you to actually order more, spend more, and eat more. Crazy. So actually when you have fat, how many bags, like how many boxes of, like how many, like you can have plates of rices and like literally pizzas after pizzas after pizzas. But actually the good type of fat, not the bad type of fat, the good type of fat, it goes and actually inhibits leptin and says, it actually stimulates leptin, not inhibits it. Good fat actually improve and, brings leptin up and says, hey, I'm satiated. Like, who can give me a bottom? Yeah, so basically Norma, it's better because the fact that you can't eat an entire plate of almonds, you can eat a plate of rice, but you can't eat a plate of almonds. So this is where fat really helps you satiate. It gives you that feeling of fullness. So therefore, you're eating less processed, refined carbohydrates and bad fat. And that bad fat are like those hydrogenated oils and all those other things, right? Because there's multiple types of fats. We have saturated fat, which includes like your butter and your coconut oil. There's monounsaturated fat, which includes your olive, avocado, many nuts, and there's polyunsaturated fats, which are omega-3s and omega-6s, and there's like trans fats, which are bad stuff. So the saturated fat has been up till now known as like the forbidden fat. But that is again essential. It's essential for fat-soluble vitamins, nutrients. It's essential to help lower triglycerides, raise HDL, and the less harmful types of LDL, which is the less harmful one is we're going to talk about, let me quickly talk about this, and then we're going to talk about the different types of LDL, because that's where a lot of the confusion also occurs. So basically, saturated fats will lower inflammation by turning off genes that produce cytokines, and helps to prevent leaky gut. And there was like this huge hype a couple months ago where, there's this study that came out that, oh my gosh, coconut oil is so bad for you. But did you guys look at who actually funded that study? Canola oil and all the pharmaceutical companies. Obviously, they're not going to want you getting better. And so therefore, this is really, really key when you're seeing a study specifically about food or whatever, any study, right? You really want to see who's funding the study and, who's got their fingers in the sugar pot, right? So it's really crazy. So that's the kind of stuff that you really want to make sure, because saturated fats actually reduce inflammation, help with, and actually reduce heart disease, cancers, diabetes, depression. Adding fats to your diet are really key to lower the overall, caloric intake. And it's really, really, really important. So what are the types of good fats, right? So the types of good fats is and you don't want a lot of it. So it's not like I'm telling you to go eat fat all day long, because remember, even everything should be in like moderation. So fat is like a typical serving of fat is just a tablespoon of oil, right? Or a handful of nuts, or 4 ounces of fish, or some sort of other animal protein that has some fat in it. So it's very small amount is what you need per meal. It's not a lot. It's not a lot of fat that you need. You just need a little bit, because it's really crazy. And this is where a lot of doctors are still under this, impression that, oh my gosh, fat, bad. But because our bodies need fat, you just need a little bit to get you a long way. Okay, So, and what are those types, or what are the other types of fats, right? We talked about, fatty fish and fish oils and flaxseed oil. Then all of that really helps to reduce constipation and heart disease, improve cellular functions. Avocados, nuts, seeds. We have olive oil, butter, organic, pasteurized, raw, is better for you. Then there's like MCT oil. We have animal fats, can be your friend in moderation, small amounts. Then we have is like specifically on which avocados, like who doesn't love avocados, right? And then coconut oil. So there's so many amazing types of fats out there. I've detailed them a lot in my book, and specifically about which types I sort of spotlight specific types of fat, and I include all the studies, all the PubMed studies that really get you to understand, and then you can go through those studies yourself. I want you to educate yourself. I've provided you guys a link, and then you can go educate yourself. You just don't want to take one word for granted. That studies are all there. Your body needs some sort of fat. We can't fat shame, because then you start eating more of the junk, and that causes more inflammation. So basically, our bodies need fat. A little bit of fat, but is really good for our bodies. Now let's talk quickly about the fact that for cooking oils, because that's another question that I get a lot. So please, you guys ask me your questions. I'm here for another 15 minutes, and then we go from there. But specifically, we got to make sure there's some sort of oils that, because oils begin to get damaged at certain temperatures, and that destroys valuable nutrients and actually oxidizes it. Actually, it can give you the reverse effect of oils. Right? And that is because of the fact that those oils are not meant for that temperature, and it'll just change it. So for high heat, I recommend coconut oil or ghee. That's what I use, mostly just coconut oil, because a lot of the people I take care of and myself can have some dairy sensitivity. So I use a lot of coconut oil for that. And that too, just for frying, or like high heat so I do most of my meals in coconut oil. And then we have is the ones like the medium, low, or no heat. Then you can use all your other like almond, avocado, sesame oil, walnut oils, all of those extra virgin olive oils. Is all really good for that. But again, now that I talked about all of this fat, I do want to make it clear that you can't eat lots of high fat and have high carbohydrates. You can't do that, because that can lead to some sort of inflammation. Like if you eat like lots of refined carbohydrates and eat lots of fat, bad fat and the good fat, then that still can cause problems. So this is where we got to reduce the refined carbohydrates, because that's not good for you, right? And this is where the fat is really key. Now let's talk about another quick piece of the puzzle. Is that a lot of times what happens is that when I put people on vegetables, protein, healthy fats, lots of vegetables, so your plate should have lots of vegetables in it, a little bit of healthy fat, like half an avocado or a full avocado, avocado nuts or seeds, so like a handful of nuts and seeds, like a tablespoon of oil, all of that. But the thing is, and then we have a little bit of protein. They come back to me after they get their cholesterol checked, most of them come down, but a lot of them, they're like, oh my gosh, my doctor says stop eating all this fat or this cholesterol or the eggs because your cholesterol is going up. Don't fear that. And this is what I want to make you really, really understand this fact, that doctors, and this is something that I was not taught in medicine, and barely cardiologists acknowledge, they know this fact, but they don't really, we don't really go into this in depth, especially with conventional medical testings, because conventional wisdom is just telling us that all LDL is bad and all HDL is good, right? But that is actually false. Because of the fact that what your doctor probably failed to mention was that there are two types of LDL. Right? There's two types of LDL particles that actually determine, and there's one that determines our health, and only one of them is really detrimental to our health. And so the testing that you're going to get done with your LDL doesn't really look at all of that. It just basically chunks it all together and doesn't split to tell you which type of the particle that is elevated. So the LDL. So there is a bad and a good. The LDL bad is the small, dense type B LDL. Then there's a fluffy, large LDL, and that's the good LDL. So the small, dense LDL, they are harmful variety, and those are the specific ones that actually lodge in and can cause heart disease and are more likely to oxidize and can lead to a 4.25 times higher risk for heart attacks, right? With the low oxidated LDL. So similar to the way that saturated fat has been like demonized, then there's also like different types of even HDL, right? But specifically, we want to, every time you have a question, right, specifically with your cholesterol, you want to, or the doctors are wanting to put you on a medication for it, it's better to ask them for, there's specialized testing that you can do to really see which type of LDL is really elevated. So before you start on a medication, I want you to get the whole full picture about what's really going on with your LDL, what's really going on with your HDL, what's really going on with your triglycerides, because in my mind, those triglycerides are really also a bad one. Obviously, the type B, small, dense LDL is bad, but the large, fluffy LDL is good. And so this is where that testing will really help to figure out exactly which type of cholesterol is raised in your body and if you need medication or not. Another thing that I know that I can test on conventional medical testings are your triglycerides. Your triglycerides are directly related to your sugar level. And that is really inflammatory. So the higher that is, that means the higher your sugar levels are, and your glucose and sugar levels in your body are. So it's really important to, if you do have a cholesterol issue, to go to your doctor and say, I would like this advanced cholesterol testing. They can do that, or they can order it through specialized tests, or go to your functional medicine doctor to order those to see if you really need to be on one of those drugs. Because there's a lot of side effects to those drugs. Obviously, this is why you really need to weigh the risks versus the benefits. And I do talk about some of it in my book. But specifically, please do your research. Gain your knowledge. I have the studies here for you. I want you to start looking into it. I had to learn this on my own, so a lot of doctors don't know this information. I literally am still educating doctors on top of doctors because we do not have all the information. So please be your own health advocate. And I would love your questions. I'm here for another 10 minutes. And I would love your questions. Let's go through the ones. I know I got lots and lots of questions. So thank you guys all for your questions and for listening, because I know your time is valuable and I feel so honored that you're spending that with me. So let's go through. So Norma says, hi Norma. Yeah, and I saw you talk here and there. Yeah, learning about so much. So you gotta be an advocate for your own self about what's going on with your body, right? And then we have Norma. Yeah, I know drugs are, so conventional medicine is great for acute conditions. It's great. My sister is a pediatric ICU physician. My brother's an interventional cardiologist. So when you have a heart attack, you do not want to obviously take the holistic approach for that. After the acute attack is over, then you can use the holistic approach for that. But like, for example, I have very close family members that have heart attacks, right? And so their heart is actually improving. Yes, once the initial insult is over, you're able to heal. But now, for example, like those underlying root cause factors that led to your heart attack, those can now be managed. So you can now prevent another cardiovascular event or lower inflammation, so you can help heal chronic disease, all chronic disease from the inside out. Agata, yeah, she had hyperthyroidism, Hashi. terrible panic attacks, all can be healed if you just focus on those key pieces, those key fundamental pieces. I hope I'm saying that name right, but I do have actually coming up, actually check my blog out and share away, because there's a lot of people that have these same symptoms that you're having. I am putting an infographic together about Hashimoto's. So please, I have tons of infographic right now. I think I have probably 6 or 7 infographics. And I would love your comments on those. Those are something that I'm just creating. And I want them to be the most beneficial for you. Just so sort of like an infographic to show you that these are all the healing modalities. So it gives you hope. So that's basically, and then all those stepwise and what you can do to help heal your chronic symptom. And those are in my blog. So Carolyn, yeah, fatigue, gut issues, headaches, metabolism, all. If you really focus on no dairy, no grains, no sugar, no processed foods, optimizing your deficiency, fixing your deficiencies, working on gratitude, stress management, social help, I promise you all of those symptoms will go away. And I've seen this, I'm telling you guys over and over and over and over. I know this approach, I talk about this approach over and over and over again, the same kind of stuff. But literally, it's that simple. I'm not telling you that this is really something that's you have to spend thousands of dollars on or you have to do anything. It's that simple that you can help heal. And I have 100% success rate in healing chronic illness over the last 8 years. I have been doing this for 8 years. I have 4 children. I take care of my in-laws. I run a practice. I speak. I do all this stuff, and I try to live this lifestyle. My kids try to live this lifestyle. So if I can do it, you can do it. Let's get you guys back in charge of your own health. Nazish, oh, assalamu alaikum, Nazish. Love you. Going on the ketone was my best thing I ever did. So many of my symptoms were gone. Sadly, I've struggled to maintain it. We'll keep trying. Yes, it's like it's basically like you. At least you know that there's hope. Right? And that's what, for me specifically, I love this lifestyle. I cheat. Like, for example, yesterday was my mom's birthday, so I went out and had a couple, I cheated a little bit, right? I had some dairy. Woo, right? And, but it doesn't bother me anymore. So then I got back on the bandwagon today. So this is life. You have fun when you have fun, but then when you have really a chronic illness, you have to heal that chronic illness, put out that fire, so then you can really start to feel amazing. Norma, I'm glad I found you too, Norma. Kristen says fibromyalgia, Hashimoto's, anxiety, depression, fatigue. Kristen, I am here for you. I'm telling you that there's hope. I have seen people with my own 2 eyes over the last 8 years that have had those exact same symptoms, and just by lowering their inflammation, they can heal not one symptom, but then all of them simultaneously. And I try to lay it out. Hashimoto specifically, I'm going to continue to make more infographics, but it's really about the same approach. I just wanted to show you guys that's really the same type of approach. And it helps because you're healing the underlying root cause. So infographics are on my blog. Yes, I know. Can you tell that I'm a little bit passionate about this? I'm so passionate about getting people to find their root cause and get back in charge of their own health. Daniela, Norma hasn't felt good in years. I can help you, Norma. Let's do this. You are worth it. You are, look at all you've accomplished being less than 100%. I can't even imagine what you're going to be able to accomplish when you are feeling your very best. Let's get you back in charge of your own health, and I'm here for you. Mwah. So Danielle, I'm sick and tired of being sick. Danielle, you know I'm here for you, girl. So let's do this together. Kristen is currently reading your book. Right? Me too! I live this lifestyle. I love it. That's why I really wanted to write the book, so then people have like a way out. Norma, Facebook Live, yay! Book, stress. Yeah, so specifically, Norma, your stress, you want to make sure that your stress levels, you identify those stress and figure out a way to target it, because sometimes you can't. Obviously, if it's your husband or your mother or things like that you really can't get away from, it's better to incorporate those stress management techniques. So bring those hormones down or incorporate like meditation, yoga. Some suffers from gut issues. Yeah, so we can start to heal it. Love good fat. Love the enthusiasm. Thanks, guys. I love this stuff. Better for their bottom line, yeah. Then we had, I don't eat out of restaurants anymore. Restaurants are going on. I know. I mean, I go to restaurants. I specifically eat those foods. Like, for example, I still go down the list: vegetables, protein, and healthy fats. I leave it for a special occasion. Love coconut oil, tilapia, salmon. I know, I love salmon. Norma, you're on your 20-hour fast? Yeah, I'm actually, yeah. So I try to eat. I do also do long progressive fasts. Currently, I'm also fasting. So I'm right there with you guys. I just feel so much better when I fast because it keeps my hormones level. I'm not worried about food. Educate. Danielle says, I use clarified butter. Is that okay? Clarified butter is ghee. So yes, as long as you have no dairy or sensitivity. Some people even with dairy sensitivities can tolerate that. So again, you got to listen to your body, and that's what I want to show you what to do. So today my doctor Mamuna said, today my doctor diagnosed fibromyalgia too. So fibromyalgia can be healed. And I'm telling you, you don't have to live with pain all your life. I know, just giving you guys that hope of healing is so much. So please, 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 I have an entire section on fibromyalgia in the book. Deal with your trauma, start with gratitude, positivity, sleep well, all of those key pieces. Heal the gut, get away from the inflammatory foods, remove the toxins from your environment, and you can be free from fibromyalgia. Maggie says, how about nuts, seeds, and legumes? So nuts and seeds are great. Some people can't tolerate them. So this is again where but I noticed that once you get the no grains, no dairy, no sugar, no processed food out of your system, then you can really see what you can really tolerate. Most of my patients, 90% of my patients can tolerate nuts, seeds, legumes, and lentils and things like that. It's once they remove all those, then they realize, yeah, it was actually, that was causing me a problem, not this. So you got to listen to your body. If after you remove grains, dairy, sugar, processed foods, and you're still having problems, then I would try to remove like nuts and seeds and legumes, right? And this is where I take it stepwise. I take like a tier-wise approach. So can you recommend anything for weight loss? So yes, that is something that I'm struggling with. I actually just came from the gym right now. And I have to be completely honest, I'm really trying. In my family, everybody is overweight. Everybody. And no matter how little they eat, no how much more exercise, they just can't lose weight. And that was my situation also. And what I realized was that it's because of the fact that our insulin levels are on a different baseline. They're higher than everybody else's. So when you're overweight and you can't lose weight, you have a higher insulin level. So the only thing that can help you lower that insulin level, right, and have a different baseline is by intermittent fasting. So when I started intermittent fasting, when I started continuing my exercise regime, okay, Jen. When I started continuing my exercise routine onto a regular, like not too much, not just like 15 minutes daily or 5 times a day meditation, that helps to heal. So and I've been losing weight. I feel better about myself, and then so I try to do that in the morning time. And intermittent fast, I've lost like 30 pounds just by intermittent fasting and eating lower carb. Remember what I do, I eat vegetables, protein, and healthy fats is what I really concentrate on. So Daniela says, do you eat rice? So no, I keep that just for spare. I just keep that for special occasions. And that's what my kids too. I leave it for special occasions. Why? Because of the fact that I realized that when my kids eat grains, they don't eat their vegetable, protein, and healthy fats. So that's what I really want to focus on, eating vegetables, protein, healthy fats. The more grains that they eat, the more problems they'll have, because the fact that they won't eat their vegetables, because vegetables do heal. Okay? So, okay, so he needs help with that. So I would love you guys. Let me go ahead and please message me. Please go ahead and message me all your questions. And if you guys have any other questions, please message me. I do answer my private messaging on Facebook on my Holistic Mom MD, and just to try to educate and help heal. And if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Danielle says, like, there's so many women. What's going on? Might be the food. Our chronic illnesses are on a rise. They say 1 out of every 4 children will have autism by 2033 if we don't stop what's going on now. The root of that is inflammation. Because inflammation is on a rise, chronic disease is on a rise. So if we can target the underlying root cause of inflammation, help heal chronic disease, then we'll have a healthier present and future. And I'm going to leave that to go because now I got to go pick up a child from preschool. I'll see you guys later. Love you all. Can't wait for your questions. Please like and share this video because there's so much hope that we can provide for so many others that don't know that there's another way. Love you all. Bye.